Samantat prithivim sarvam jitva yakshyati cha advaraihi jitva yakshati chadvaraihi kanasheyam purodhaya turam turagame dashat samantat prithivim sarvam jitva yakshati chadvaraihi कालशेयं पुरोधाय तुरं तुरगमे दशाट समन्तात् पृथिवीं सर्वां जित्वा यक्ष्यति चाद्वरैः Alasheyam, the son of Kalasha, Purodhaya, accepting as the priest, Turam Tura, Turagamedashat, he will be known as Turagamedashat, a performer of many horse sacrifices. Samantat, including all parts. Prithivim, the world. Sarvam, everywhere. Jitva, conquering. Yakshyati, will execute sacrifices. Cha, and Advaraihi, by performing Ashvamedha Yagnas. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhai Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. After conquering throughout the world and after accepting Tura, the son of Kalasha, as his priest, Janamejaya will perform Ashvamedha Yagnas, for which he will be known as Turaga Medashat. Can you repeat the translation? After conquering throughout the world and after accepting Tura, the son of Kalasha, as his priest, Janamejaya will perform Ashvamedha Yajnas, for which he will be known as Turagamedashat. There are no purports to this text, so I'll read the following texts also. Tasya putra Shataniko Yagyavalkyatrayim Patan Astra Jnanam Kriya Jnanam Shaunakat Param Eshyati. The son of Janamejaya, known as Shatanika, will learn from Yagyavalkya the three Vedas and the art of performing ritualistic ceremonies. He will also learn the military art from Kripacharya and the transcendental science from the sage Shaunaka. Text 39. Sahasranikas tatputras tatas chaivashvamedachaha Asima Krishnas tasyapi nemi chakrastu tatsutaha. The son of Shatanika will be Sahasranika, and from him will come the son named Ashvamedhaja. From Ashvamedhaja will come Asima Krishna, and his son will be Nemi Chakra. Gajahvaye hritena dhyam kaushambhyam sadhu vatsyati uktas tatash chitraratas tasmat chun chiratas sutaha. When the town of Hastinapura, New Delhi, is inundated by the river, Nemi Chakra will live in the place known as Kaushambi. His son will be celebrated as Chitraratha, and the son of Chitraratha will be Shuchiratha. Tasmacha Vrishtimamstasya sushenotha mahipati sunitastasya bhavita nichakshur yat sukinalaha. From Shuchirata will come the son named Vrishtiman, and his son Sushena will be the emperor of the entire world. The son of Sushena will be Sunita, and his son will be Nichakshu, and from Nichakshu will come a son named Sukhinala. Next 42. Pariplama sutastasman medhavi sunayatmaja nipanjayastato durvas timistasma janishyati. The son of Sukhinala will be Pariplava, and his son will be Sunaya. From Sunaya will come a son named Medhavi. From Medhavi, Nripanjaya. From Nripanjaya, Durva. And from Durva, Timi. Text 43. Timer Brihadatas Tasmaj Chatanika Sudha Sajaha Shatanika Durdamanas Tasya Patyam Mahinaraha. From Timi will come Brihadrata. From Brihadrata, Sudasa. And from Sudasa, Shatanika. From Shatanika will come Durdamana. And from him will come a son named Mahinara. Texts 44-45. Dandapaninimistasya kshemako bhavita yataha brahmakshatrasya vayonirvamsho devarshi satkritaha kshemakam prapya rajanam samstham prapsyati vaikulau atamagadha rajano bhavino ye vadamite. The son of Mahinara will be Dandapani, and his son will be Nimi, from whom King Kshemaka will be born. I have now described to you the moon god's dynasty, which is the source of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, and is worshipped by demigods and great saints. In this Kali Yuga, Kshemaka will be the last monarch. Now I shall describe to you the future of the Magadha dynasty. Please listen. Bhavita saha devasya marjarir yat chutashtravaha tato yuthayustasyapi niramitro tatsutaha sunakshatra brihatsenota karmachet tata sutanjayat vipra shuchistasya bhavishyati kshemota suvritastasmat Dharmasutra samastataha Dyumatsenota sumati subalo janita tataha. Sahadeva, the son of Jarasandha, will have a son named Marjari. From Marjari will come Shrutashrava. From Shrutashrava, Yutayu. And from Yutayu, Niramitra. The son of Niramitra will be Sunakshatra. From Sunakshatra will come Brihatsena. And from Brihatsena, Karmajit. The son of Karmajit will be Sutanjaya. The son of Sutanjaya will be Vipra, and his son will be Shuchi. The son of Shuchi will be Kshema. The son of Kshema will be Suvrata. And the son of Suvrata will be Dharmasutra. From Dharmasutra will come Sama. From Sama, Dyumatsena. From Dyumatsena, Sumati. And from Sumati, Subala. This is the last text of this chapter. Text 49. Sunita Satyajit Atha Vishwajit Yad Ripunjayaha Barhadratascha Bhupala Bhavya Sahasravatsaram. From Subala will come Sunita. From Sunita, Satyajit. From Satyajit, Vishwajit. And from Vishwajit, Ripunjaya. All of these personalities will belong to the dynasty of Brihadratha, which will rule the world for 1000 years. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada. This is the history of a monarchy that began with Jarasandha and continues for 1000 years as the above mentioned kings appear on the surface of the globe. Thus end the purports of the 9th canto, 22nd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Descendants of Ajamedha. ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So here, Shukadeva Goswami is narrating to Parikshit Maharaj about his own son Janamejaya and what he will do after the departure of the king Parikshit. So he is actually describing the future in the present tense to Parikshit Maharaj. So that's why, as it was discussed earlier, these great sages were actually Trikalakya's. So they could actually see the past, present, and future. Therefore, they're able to narrate these things. Also, Shukadeva Goswami says that he has heard all of these things from his father, Vyasadeva, and is able to commit to memory, having heard once Srimad Bhagavatam from his father. So that was the kind of sages we had in those days. So here, Shukadeva Goswami is telling, after conquering throughout the world, Janamejaya performed many horse sacrifices called Ashwamedha Yajnas under the chief priesthood of the son of Kalasha by name Tura. And because of performing many horse sacrifices very expertly under the priesthood of Tura, he, Janamejaya, became famous as Turagamedashat, means the performer of many horse sacrifices. This is significant because to perform even one horse sacrifice, Ashwamedha Yajna, is not all easy. It requires a lot of money and a lot of sacrificial ingredients, a lot of gold, and generally you require qualified priests to perform this yajna, and you also have to sufficiently give dakshina to the brahmanas who have come for the sacrifice. So it is not easy. So it is actually yajna performance is a very costly affair. Not unlike today where you can do it in a very simple way, in an economical way. It is not possible. So to perform even one Ashwamedha Yajna is very difficult, and here Maharaja Janamejaya performed many horse sacrifices. Therefore, he is known as Turagamedashat. Of course, in Kali Yuga, because of the lack of qualified brahmanas, the scriptures describe the only bona fide, authentic, permissible, approved yajna world over is actually Sankirtana Yajna, chanting of the holy name of Vishnu or Krishna. That is the only sacrifice recommended for Kali Yuga. Because of the lack of qualified brahmanas and lack of money and paraphernalia. Even if you have money, you may not get many sacrificial ingredients. They have disappeared from the face of the earth. So many sacrificial ingredients are not available, even if you search, which are to be used for the yajna. So because of all these things, one should simply perform the Sankirtana Yajna and get the benefit of performing millions of Ashwamedha Yajnas. There are descriptions like this in the Vedas. It's not an exaggeration. Chanting of Krishna's holy name is equal to performing many Ashwamedha Yajnas. So therefore, it is recommended even by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Yagnanam Japa Yagnosmi. Krishna directly is telling, among all the yagnas, Krishna didn't say, I am Ashwamedha Yagna. Krishna said, Japa Yagnosmi. I am actually chanting of the holy name. So among all the yagnas, this Japa Yagna stands supreme as per Krishna's own words. So therefore, we should give utmost importance to the Sankirtana and to the Japa, Hare Krishna Japa, and not take it lightly. Because many times people think, oh, this Hare Krishna is so simple. It is so simple. So therefore, people don't attach much value to Hare Krishna. But actually, Devahuti, the mother of Lord Kapila, made one very important statement. She says, Aho bata swapachoto gariyan yad jifvagre vartate namatubhyam tepus tapaste juhuhur sasnuraya brahma nuchur nama grinantiyete. It's a very important verse. In this verse, Mother Devahuti is telling that if somebody has come to the point of chanting Krishna's name always, his tongue is uttering Krishna's name always, what does it mean? It actually means in his past lives, he has already completed visiting all the holy places on the earth. Like we go to Badrikashram, we go to Rameshwaram, we go to Madurai, we go to so many places. Haridwar, Rishikesh. So according to Devahuti, Mother Devahuti, somebody is able to chant Krishna's name and has developed some attraction to chanting Krishna's name. It is understood in his previous life or lives, many lives past, he has traveled all the world and has finished his Tirtha Yatra to all these holy places. And he has performed many hundreds and thousands of yajnas and has chanted the Vedic literatures and has performed all kinds of pious activities of all description. And she also goes on to say, even if one has taken birth in the family of a Chandala or a dog eater, he becomes worshipable if he is able to chant Krishna's name. And if we observe somebody chanting Krishna's name, then we don't check his kula or his past. He is worshipable. Otherwise, Krishna's name will not appear in one's tongue. One can try. Actually, they will not chant Krishna's name. That means one is able to chant means he is so glorious. That's why Devahuti has used the word Gariyan. Gariyan means extremely glorious person. He's a glorious person. Meat eater generally is not appreciated much among the pious circles, learned circles. But here we see that the lowest kind of meat eater is considered to be a dog eater. And Mother Devahuti is saying even such a person becomes highly elevated and even worshipable, extremely glorious, because he is able to chant Krishna's name. But one should note that it is not that every meat eater or dog eater becomes glorious. It is not easy to chant Krishna's name. And if somebody is able to chant, he has finished all the descriptions of punya in the Vedic literatures. Therefore, in this life, today is able to chant Krishna's name. So that is the value of this chanting of the Lord's holy name. And that is a yajna. It is actually a yajna. Yajna means literally satisfaction of Vishnu. Satisfying Vishnu. Yajna literally means satisfying Vishnu. So any act we do to satisfy Vishnu is actually technically a yajna. technically yajna. And the foremost yajna, of course, is chanting of the holy names of God, either as japa or as sankirtana, either way. So that is the recommendation for all of us in Kali Yuga. Now we will hear little about Janamejaya. So Janamejaya is one of the Raja Rishis or saintly kings. His mother's name is Iravati, and he is one of the sons of Maharaja Parikshit, who had 4 sons. Janamejaya was the first of all. So the other 3 brothers of Janamejaya were Shrutasena, Bhimasena too, because it's a Bhimasena who is his grandfather, Pandava Bhima. This is Bhimasena 1. So this is Bhimasena 2 and Ugrasena. So all of them were very powerful and they were very devoted to Lord Krishna. So Janamejaya, he had 2 sons by name Shatanika and Shankukarna. In the sacrifice performed by Janamejaya, as we know, after the demise of Maharaja Parikshit, Janamejaya became very upset that his father's death was caused by Takshaka. He performed continuous sacrifices in which he wanted all the snake races in the world to be destroyed, to become extinct. Of course, finally it was stopped and he desisted from continuing by the advice of some great sages. So in that sacrifice, Narada Muni, Veda Vyasa, Parvata Muni, Asita Devala Vyasa, which we hear from Bhagavad Gita, Asito Devala Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Brvishi Me. Arjuna quotes him in the Bhagavad Gita. So all these great sages, they were present. Even Yagnavalkya during the sacrifice performed by Maharaja Janamejaya. And it is at this time that Veda Vyasa narrated the entire history of Mahabharata to Janamejaya for the first time. After compiling the entire Mahabharata for the first time, he actually narrated the Mahabharata in the royal assembly of Maharaja Janamejaya. Then later on, Vyasadeva instructed his disciple, one important disciple by name Vaishampayana, who is one of the professors of one of the division of the Vedas. So he instructed him to narrate the Mahabharata once again to Maharaja Janamejaya, and he did so for the second time. It is also said that Asita, of course, when Vyasadeva compiled the Mahabharata, it was about 1 lakh verses, which was narrated to Janamejaya. Then later on, Asita Devala Rishi, who was also present during the sacrifice, he also chanted this Mahabharata to his father. And that time it was a more detailed description, the same Mahabharata, consisting of 15 lakh verses. So Janamejaya was very much affected by the loss of his father, and somehow he was not able to overcome this grief for long time. Then he prayed to Vyasadeva to do something about it. So Vyasadeva, taking compassion about Maharaja Janamejaya, he's not able to overcome the grief. Then Vyasadeva, by his mystic power, brought Parikshit Maharaj in front of him. And Janamejaya actually worshipped him and served him. And he also worshipped Vyasadeva along with his father Parikshit Maharaj. And he became very satisfied. And he gave charities to the Brahmana at that sacrifice. So these are all very powerful sages. We just can't imagine how all such things can happen. That's why I said earlier, some time back, the sages, the brahmanas, the devotees, they were so powerful that they had so many mystical powers at their hand. They could manifest so many things. What they desire, they could manifest immediately. See, Parikshit Maharaj has gone elsewhere in some other planet, some other body, but they could call Parikshit Maharaj. Vyasdev could call Parikshit Maharaj. You see, so many such things happen. Narada Muni also we can see in the case of Chitraketu. Chitraketu didn't have any sons, although he had many wives. But somehow he could not have any son from any of them. And then he was very, very unhappy. Then at that time, one great sage goes to Chitraketu, and then he says, "My dear king, why are you so morose?" Says, "What to do, my dear sage? I don't have any issues. I have a big kingdom, everything at my command, beautiful wives, nice subjects, but I don't have an issue." So then he says that, okay, actually he came to give him spiritual instruction, but he was not in a mood to listen. Sometimes we also see when go for preaching, people are not ready to hear Bhagavad Gita. What can be done? Their mindset is not prepared to hear. So then this, I think it was Angira Muni, if I'm right. So then he says, okay, I will arrange one son for you. Just like that they would say like that. I will give you one son. What do you mean by I give you one son? They were so powerful. So then he gave one food preparation. And he said, you give it to one of your queens and she will bear a child very soon. So this Chitraketu gave to one of his queens by name Kritadyuti. And then that queen ate that sacrificial offering which is offered to Vishnu. See the power of Vishnu Prasadam? It can bear any result. If you want a child also, actually it can give you a child. So powerful. Of course, we don't pray for anything other than Krishna Bhakti by chanting Krishna's name, by honoring Krishna Prasadam. But I'm just saying, so but these things are there. By eating Vishnu Prasadam, although she was a barren woman, she actually bore a child. Then, but Angiri Rishi said that this child will be the cause of jubilation and the cause of lamentation also, both. So the king was surprised. Why did this Muni tell like that? That this child will be the cause of lamentation. Jubilation I understand, because for so many years there's no child. Naturally, we'll all be very, very glad. So I understand that we will all be jubilant by the birth of this child. But what did this Muni mean by saying that this child will be the cause of lamentation? Then he thought probably he'll be the only child, so he may become little naughty, little puffed up. That is okay. After all, he's my descendant, my own son. That is okay, no problem. So like that he thought so. And then this Rishi went away. So very soon, the queen bore this child. The queen became pregnant and gave birth to this child. And when this child was born, the other queens who didn't bear a child yet, they became envious. And then they all got together and planned something very, very wrong, something very mischievous. They all thought, let us kill this child. Because this king has become very attracted to this queen and showing more concern and care and affection to this queen and not to us anymore. All happened after this child's birth. Let us kill this child. So then actually they called the maidservant and arranged to mix poison in the food, and then they fed that poison food and the child became unconscious. So when the maidservant went to, this was the act of one maidservant, then another maidservant to wake up the child would not wake up. When Kritadyuti goes to see, the child is dead. And that came as a great shock. And soon the news reached to the king also. And the king also was shocked. Then very soon, all the citizens of Chitraketu in his kingdom got to know, and all of them were merged in an ocean of grief. Krishna Balaram Gurtai Prabhupada says, crying and crying and crying and crying and crying. At that time, again, this Rishi comes. Just when they're all lamenting very pitiably, then he says, my dear king, why are you all crying? He says, this loss of my child. I told you that very day. This child will be the cause of jubilation and lamentation. Then this Rishi does something wonderful. And then Narada Muni comes. So he does something wonderful. He gives life to the dead child. And then the child gets up. And then he starts giving instructions to the emperor, Chitraketu, and to his mother and mothers and all the citizens. Very wonderful transcendental instructions. Similar to that in the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, about the temporary nature of this body and the eternal nature of the soul, and how the soul never dies. And one should not lament for the loss of the body. One should be alert in executing one's spiritual duties amidst all material difficulties. So like that he goes on to narrate about the importance of the soul. And after speaking for a few minutes, again the child closes his eyes, falls dead once again. But this time Chitraketu, having become self-realized by hearing the words of his son, he does not lament and stops his lamentation. So like that we can see many such interesting things, mystical things happen. Bhagavatam presents. We don't see such things now because there is no tapas shakti, sadhana shakti, bhakti shakti. No such austerities are being, devotional austerities are being performed. Simply demoniac. And austerities concerning increasing one's power, position, reputation, exploiting the resources of people, material world. So one will actually lose all good credits because of that. Then here it also says, the son of Janamejaya, his name is Shatanika, one of the sons, the first son, he learned from Yajnavalkya the three Vedas and the art of performing ritualistic ceremonies and he will learn military art, Dhanur Veda, from Kripacharya. And he will learn transcendental science from the sage Shaunaka. So let's hear something about Yajnavalkya. In the Bhagavatam it is said that this Yajnavalkya is one of the forms of Vishnu. The Lord takes many forms in many categories. As Prahlad Maharaj says also in 7th canto, that in every species the Lord takes a form to benefit that species and liberate them. So when the Lord takes birth in a certain particular species, those species all will get attracted. Just like Matsya, the Lord appeared as Matsya. All the fishes become attracted to this Matsya. Oh, what is this lovely fish? Amazing fish, majestic fish, magnanimous fish. It was really big. So they all became attracted. In that way, they become liberated. So like that, the Lord appears in every species and benefits that species to liberation and dispatches them back to God, to the kingdom of God. So the Lord takes birth in all species, including sages. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, among the great sages, I am actually Narada. Like that here in the Bhagavatam, it is also said among the great saintly persons, it is Yajnavalkya. The Lord's another form as a saintly person is Yajnavalkya. In every yuga, the Supreme Lord Hari assumes the form of Siddhas, such as Sanaka. So among the Siddha Purushas, the Lord appeared as Sanaka to preach transcendental knowledge. Then he assumes the form of great saintly persons like Yajnavalkya to teach about karma, how to perform karma and get liberation. Karma can also bind you, is what we generally understand. But Yajnavalkya came to teach the art of karma. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. As Krishna says in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Kaushala means expertise. Karmasu. There's a certain way of performing work by which it can liberate you. But if you do the work in a wrong way, it can bind you. So karma can also liberate you. Karma can also bind you. It's an art of executing karma. How do you deal with karma? How do you operate karma? Just like you have a nice laptop or a computer, you operate nicely, you can get a lot of things done. But if you mess it up, it will shut down, it will hang up. Isn't it? So like karma is like that. It's like a double-edged sword. Like Prabhupada always gives the example. Shaving blade can give you a nice shave on your face, a clean shave. It can also give out blood if you are inattentive and not careful in shaving yourself properly and carefully. There can be blood also in the skin. There can also be a clean shave, a smooth shave. So it's like a double-edged sword. Karma also is like that. It's an art of working. If you work very nicely as per Dharma Shastra, directions of Dharma, it can liberate you. It can take you back to Godhead. And that is called akarma or Krishna karma. The art of working is to work for Krishna in this world. Then whatever work you may take up doesn't make any difference. It is simply liberating. And any work which is not meant for the purpose of Krishna, to satisfy Krishna, it is not the mission of Krishna in this world. It will simply react. Narada Muni says in the 1st canto, I think in the 5th chapter, his instruction to Vyasadeva, that any work which is performed, which is not directed to Krishna, it will react. This is the word he has used, it will react. But any work which is done for the satisfaction of Vishnu, it is simply liberating. Therefore, devotees perform all kinds of karmas for the satisfaction of Vishnu and get liberation. So, Yajnavalkya came to explain, teach this art of performing karma in this world. Then, Yajnavalkya is actually coming in the line of Lord Ramachandra. In the line of Kusha. Lava and Kusha were the two sons of Lord Rama. In the dynasty lineage of Kusha, actually Yajnavalkya comes. If you see a few generations after Kusha, his son, there was another descendant of Lord Rama by name Hiranyagarbha. Then, down the line further, the son of Vajranabha in the line of Rama was Sagana, and his son was Vidriti. The son of Vidriti was Hiranyanabha. So Hiranyanabha is one of the descendants of Lord Rama. This Hiranyanabha learned the science of mystic yoga from Jaimini. And he became expert and master and teacher about mystic yoga. Who? Hiranyanabha. So from Hiranyanabha, Yajnavalkya learned this science of mystic yoga. And then he further became the master of mystic yoga. So that's how the link comes. So Yajnavalkya is actually not exactly coming in the seminal lineage, but actually is coming in the parampara, you can say, because he took initiation from Hiranyanabha, who is coming in Lord Rama's line. And he learned the Adhyatma Yoga, the yoga which can loosen the knot of material attachments. He is counted as one of the principal philosophers also, Yajnavalkya. And we know in the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada quote him that it is Yajnavalkya who laid the rules of celibacy, Brahmacharya. And there are among the 20 Dharma Shastras, which are meant for human being to practice and perfect their life, 2 authorities are especially noteworthy. One is Manu, one more is Yajnavalkya. And this Yajnavalkya described the transcendental abode of the Lord to Gargi. So, he described about actually Vaikuntha to Gargi. And he said that this transcendental abode cannot be understood by less intelligent persons with less piety. The last reference about him is, it's a very nice description. Just like we know, Rupa Goswami quoted Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatrika Vidim Vina. Rupa Goswami says that one should embrace all Vedic literatures, not only Shruti or Vedas. One should also, if one accepts Vedas, one should also accept Smriti Shastra, which is actually coming from the Vedas, written on the basis of Vedas, like the Puranas and the Itihasas. That's what Rupa Goswami says. A similar verse is quoted by Yajnavalkya much before Rupa Goswami. He says, Shruti Smriti Sadachara Swasya Cha Priyamatmanaha. Then he goes on. Means one should learn human behavior from Shruti, Vedas, and from Smriti, the scriptures following the Vedic principles. So that we can see he's such a great authority. So therefore, he was selected to instruct the son of Janamejaya. The next verse we saw, the son of Janamejaya was Shatanika, who will learn from Yajnavalkya the 3 Vedas. So it was from such great personalities these Vedas are being taught. They're not ordinary persons with very high caliber. Then the last reference, it is described, because we are continuously, this entire chapter, next chapter, the past chapter, these are simply names and names and names and names and names coming, isn't it? So Shukadeva Goswami says in the next chapter, you will see very nice words. He says, what is the benefit of hearing the names of, simply hearing the names of these kings? He says, Varnayami Mahapunyam Sarva Papa Haram Nrinam Yadur Vamsham Narashrutva Sarva Papai Pramuchyate. Shukadeva Goswami telling Maharaja Parikshit, this description is supremely pious. Mahapunyam Varnayami. Ami, what I am describing, Varnaya, what I am describing, Mahapunyam, supremely pious, and Sarva Papa Haram Nranam. It vanquishes the reactions of sinful reactions in human society. Sarva Papa Haram Nranam. Then, Yadur Vamsham Narashrutva. This is a description of kings in the Yadu Vamsha. Yadu Vamshaha. These are all the descendants of Yadu, the great devotee of Lord Krishna. Shrutva Sarva Papai Pramuchyate. One will be free from all sinful reactions. Actually, not only that, one will also develop devotion to Lord Krishna particularly. This is also described elsewhere. Apart from being freed from sinful reactions, by hearing the descriptions of these great kings and their descendants, one will develop devotion to Krishna. So that is the benefit of hearing this Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll stop here. Kantarat Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada ki jai.